We'll give another minute or so before we start.
Hey, TJ.
Yeah, what's up?
Just saying hi.
Oh, hey. We'll start in a couple minutes here, John.
Okay.
All right, it's a 5:01. I'm going to start. As I said, I am recording this, so I will send this out in an email later for those that can't join us. If you do gotta have to buzz out early, certainly don't feel bad. I understand we all have busy schedules, and I want to adhere to the schedule as much as possible. My goal here on the first slide is to go through kind of who's going to be in front of your children, who's going to be in front of you if you're a student, what they're going to be emphasizing, as well as some kind of general philosophies, what we try and do as well with your kids. Sorry about all the stopping and starting. This new Zoom thing is all brand new to me. And then I'll give you some things as far as COVID, what to think about it. We're going to follow all the school protocols and all that, but in case you forgot or in case this is new sport, we'll get started. And at the very end, there are a bunch of links that are important to making sure that we're ready for when the season starts at the beginning. So the first few slides here are all the coaches that are going to be in front of you and what their background is. And some of them are here, some of them are not here. I won't take any time to introduce you. You can look at their pretty pictures and their pretty faces. If they want to wave or say hello, they certainly can. But I do want to honor your time as best as possible. So we'll go through pretty quickly these folks. If I could figure this out. Obviously, my name is TJ Craig. This is my 7th year as the head coach. This is a pretty important endeavor for me. I started out as an assistant in 2005 and took over the reins 7 years ago. I'll be in charge of kind of coordinating all the events. You'll get most of your communication, if not all of your communication, from me on my end of things. And if you have something you need from me or some help in some particular area, certainly don't hesitate to ask me or email me. We're pretty big about communication. You probably found that out already. And I'm going to continue to do so. I teach American Studies at 8th grade American Studies at Northwest Junior High. I've been doing that since for the last 4 years. Our next coach, this is his 9th year, believe it or not, Coach Kidman. He's going to be focused on the distance events as our head cross-country coach for the past 4 years. He's an expert in those particular areas. He's a teacher at West High in the IJAG. Coach Tyler Mean, this is his 10th year as our assistant coach. He's kind of the jack of all trades here. He's going to be focused on high jumps and sprints. For those of you who don't know, he's also the football defense coordinator and the West High tech guy who fixes all the problems that come up with technology. Just a second here. Another assistant started to help us last year. His name is Coach Winky. He spent 7 years at Albia High School down in Southeast Iowa. He's going to be helping us for the 2nd year in a row now. His focus will be hurdles, short sprints, and relays. You'll hear that a lot from me today. So one of the things that I find really important is that we have a lot of coaches in front of your kids so we can minimize the number of kids around. Obviously, we hope to have 90 plus kids on this team. We have for the last 5 years. So to make sure it's the most efficient and effective use of their time, I want to make sure we get lots of people in front of your kids and have the smallest group possible. So that's Coach Wiki. Coach Ty Heron is a teacher at Wickham Elementary now in 6th grade. This is 7th year as assistant coach. He's been with us since I started. He's going to be focused on the throws. He's also the head sophomore football coach, so you'll be seeing him on the sidelines doing that as well. Next coach, a young man by the name of Ryan Clevenger. I think he's on here with us as well. This is 2nd year as assistant coach. He'll be helping Coach Kidman out with the distance. He ran at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He was a 5-time All-State runner in Illinois. He's a wonderful asset to have, and we love to have good young people helping out. So he's going to help out Coach Kidman. It's Coach Dover. Coach Dover is another one of our jack of all trades. This is his 5th year. He's got some experience coaching at the college level. He's a huge asset. Last year, we kind of gave him the reins and helping our wheelchair athlete, Jordan Caprone out, and he took it and ran with it. Yeah, this great picture of Jordan and him at the state meet is one of the joys of last year for sure. He's going to help out with several different areas as well as helping Jordan. So he's a huge asset. Anytime we can get people that have coached at the college level and familiar with lots of events, they certainly are valuable. This is Coach Daryl Campbell. As the picture denotes, he was a long jumper at Iowa. This is his 2nd year coaching. He's going to be focusing on the long jump as well as the short sprints and the relays as well. He was a Drake qualifier in high school. He also helped out this past fall with the freshman running backs and linebackers. And then he's the SAC coordinator at Northwest Junior High. Next coach, Coach Breitbach. This is 6th year as an assistant coach. He's going to be helping out Coach Heron with the throws. As I said, we get a lot of kids out for our sports, and we want those people to participate in all sports and to make sure they get the best attention and the most attention in the most effective way. We want them to get lots of attention. So we try and get multiple coaches for different areas. He's also the football defensive line coach, and he teaches here with me at Northwest. This is Coach Carly Boss. She's her 1st year with us. She's going to coach the jumps and the sprints with some of those other guys. She's an exercise science major at the University of Iowa now. She hails from Waukee. She's a Drake Relays qualifier and a runner-up at state in the high jump. She brings a wealth of knowledge herself, and we're looking forward to having some different perspectives and a lot of different areas with her. Again, she's with a background in exercise science. She's going to be very valuable. Some of you may know who this person is. Her name is Courtney Stroman. She's a student teaching at West High right now in the chemistry department. She's going to be in her 1st year, so she's going to come right down with some of the kids from school and get right on the track and coach with us. She'll be helping me out and some other sprint coach with the longer sprints. She was a 8-time performer, all-time performer in the 400 meter at Dash at Iowa and a national qualifier on the 4x4. We look forward to having her expertise as well. New to the staff this year is Coach Hartwig. He's a busy man, and he offered to come utilize and help us bridge the gap between the football program and track. Obviously, there's a lot of things that go hand in hand with football and track, so he's going to be volunteering for us when he's available. If you don't know, he's the head football coach. He's also currently the West High Fellow and Dean of Students. Again, we're pretty lucky to have the university here in town, and often they have track athletes or former track athletes that stick around in our great community and they want to help out. One of those people is certainly Coach Will Daniels. He'll be helping out on a volunteer basis. Again, he's going to be focused on the hurdles, jumps, and sprints. He was a decathlete at Central College in the University of Iowa. He's got quite the resume. Division III national champ, Division I All-American, Big Ten runner-up, and Olympic trials qualifier just last year. He's got a BA in biology, an MS in clinical exercise physiology. And if that's not a mouthful, he certainly, as a decathlete, has a lot of knowledge about the different events. So we're going to capitalize on that as much as possible and use him in as many ways as we can. Currently, we again having the university here, we often get, and I think he's on here. We get often athletes that are currently training and competing for the University of Iowa. Coach Conway is certainly one of those people. He's going to be volunteering when he can. If you've been to the Sunday sessions or Tuesdays or Thursday sessions, he's been there a few times. He's going to be focused on the hurdles and the sprints. He was a regional qualifier in the 110 high hurdles and a 9-time All-State in Missouri hurdler. So certainly another guy that comes with a wealth of knowledge. So I'm going to go into kind of our general philosophies, and this is not going to be any surprise to anybody in this regard, but those of you who, those of you who are new or are still thinking about coming up for track, these are kind of the things that we focus on and we try to incorporate into the kids that are in front of us. Whether the fastest or not the fastest, we want to make sure that every kid is doing these things. So we believe very strongly in just building better overall athletes. And to do that, we want them to improve. Obviously, this is in the times and the distances and those sorts of things, but also we want them to improve in the process. As I said, obviously speed is a key component to most other sports, and we want to build that into what we do by what we do. And that includes jumping, that includes power, that includes explosiveness. All those things go into our philosophies and how we run our program. A big part of that is obviously strength development and maintenance and building. We know we have a lot of big, strong kids here at West Iowa. We know we've got a lot of talent, but we also have to take care of our bodies in a productive way. You're going to see that in the way that we encourage them to eat well while they're training, sleep well. All those things are part of what we do and is a part of what we encourage. And any help we can get in those regards would obviously be a benefit to your son. Something else we focus on is biomechanics and running form. Obviously, a lot of kids are fast naturally, but we can also improve on that speed by teaching them how to run. And I know that sounds kind of weird because isn't it just running? But one of the things we really work on is make sure they're doing it effectively and efficiently. Often people just go with whatever got them through elementary school and playing tag and all those things. And while that's worked, it certainly is not the most effective and not the fastest. So we want to make sure we're producing people who are end up running faster and at top end speed, which is our next part of it. We're developing top speed. So this is particular emphasis on our sprinters and hurdlers and jumpers, but also other distance guys. We don't just run long miles just because that's maybe their emphasis. We want to make sure every athlete on our team is focused on speed development. One of the big things that I received from the former head coach is a team first culture. I believe very strongly in supporting each and every member of our team in every way possible, which means that we got to go above and beyond and make sure that everybody feels like they are a part of this team. There are lots of ways that we do that, and I'll show you later how we do that, but certainly being up, coming to meets, cheering on our athletes, helping each other out, teaching each other how to be better athletes and better people is certainly a big emphasis of ours. Many of you are going to come to us with not necessarily a track foundation in terms of knowledge. Our job or part of our job is to make sure you learn the sport of track and field, exchange zones and handoffs and how to train. All those things are important components, as well as other things to building and learning about the sport of track and field, which has done so much for most of us. And we want to build that into your athletes and your children. And then finally, one of the added benefits of this sport for any other sport is the learning to compete. What we like to see out of our athletes is people that like to compete. We don't necessarily need to win all the time, although it's nice. What we do want to see is making sure you are giving your best effort every time you step on the track in whatever area that it tends to be in. Hopefully you know this by now, but just so you don't know, if you don't know, our season starts on February 21st. Right after school, we're going to meet up in the top balcony above the main gym. Kind of the indoor season or the first part of our season is kind of a mess a little bit because basketball is still going on, wrestling is still going on. So there will be, I'll try and put out information every week about where we're going to meet and all those things. But we do start Monday, and we'd like as many people to be there as possible, assuming that you're not another sport. To that end, we try and keep practice no longer than an hour and 30 minutes. Obviously, like most things, there are exceptions to every rule, but we want to get in, do our work, and then get kids home. So that's one of the things that we try and do for your kids. We know we want them to be kids. We want them to do things. If they got jobs or they want to be the best student possible, we want to incorporate that into what we do. So our schedule is Monday through Wednesdays, and Fridays we start at 4:15. I'll let you know via email where those meeting spots are, or we can make sure we can help you with those. And then Thursdays we start at 3:15. And I would like to start just like I started this meeting on time. We're going to start practice on time as well. Outside of, a few of the academic concerns that, other work we have to do, we're going to make sure we start practice right on time. So our job is to get them out in an hour and a half. Their job is to make sure they show up on time and get started in a timely manner so we can best use our time. And part of that practice is obviously a warm-up. We don't want them getting hurt. We don't want them having to sit out. When they do that, they're not getting better. So we want them to be there for the full practice, not the second half, not just the first half, the whole practice if possible, so we can best serve them. To that end, in terms of what we want out of our athletes, I know that sports can certainly take a lot out of an academic life. As a teacher here at Northwest, it can be incredibly frustrating when 2-3 times a week someone's got to leave class and then miss class. That's not what we want. So our hard and fast rule is we're going to try and hold each kid to 1 meet per school week. So Monday through Friday, they shouldn't be leaving or missing class more than once per week. And sometimes they won't miss any class at all in any given week. We try and stay as close as possible, if possible. So that's one of our emphasis as well. We want them being good students as well as good athletes. Being better athletes means being in advanced PE. Hopefully they've been in advanced PE this second try, and I would encourage them to third try if they are not in advanced PE to do that. We'll do some lifting, and ours will be more movement based, where advanced PE is more kind of building that core, building that strength for them to be the best athlete, whatever they're doing. So certainly if you can get that changed, we would advise that. That's huge. And then lastly, as a part of our program, we don't cut people. We don't kick people out. We don't send them away. We want every kid to come out for track because we know that it helps each and every kid in a multitude of ways. So whether they're a freshman, sophomore, 4 years of experience, 0 years of experience, whatever the case may be, everybody's going to participate, assuming that they're doing the things that they need to be doing, coming to practice, giving us effort, all those things. We do have lots and lots of meets. Not everybody goes to all of them. So we try and produce meets that give everybody an equal chance to compete and learn the sport. These are our minimum expectations, meaning these are the things we look for on a daily basis from our athletes. We want kids to show up, be present, be accountable, and do their job. Obviously, I can't just be gone from school and expect that someone else is going to fill in that job, nor can any of you be gone from your work and expect someone else to do it. What our expectation is that people are going to show up, work hard the entire time, get better, and then go do the things that they're supposed to be doing and they want to be doing. That also means they got to be consistent. We don't have any part-time employees on our team. We have to be there every single day. We have to continually get better. Each effort, each workout, each rep that we do is building on the thing before that. If we're not consistent, then it's really, really hard to really see the full improvement. I talked about best effort. I don't want to beat that with a dead horse, but the reality is over many years since 2005, our best athletes, the people that improve the most, the ones that have worked the hardest, especially after 1 and 2 and 3 years of that. It's no secret that the more you work harder and the more consistently you work harder, you're going to get better. And that's just the reality of the situation. And we try and incorporate that in what we do. And then finally, improve. Find a way to make you and your team better. There's always things that we want people from our team to do, and obviously it makes you better. We want all our football players out so we can have a successful a football team in the fall. We want our basketball team out as well. We want all the athletes that we can, not only to make themselves better, but to make their teams better, to help out. we want each of our athletes to be respectful, listen, and learn. I think that's a common thing. I don't think I need to tell anybody that, but that means that we have to be respectful of each other. We're one of the, I would say, in my own opinion, we are one of the most diverse teams on this campus, with 90 plus people on this team from all walks of life. And because of that, we need to make sure we're respectful to each other. We listen to each other, and then we learn from each other. Sometimes that's going to be track based, and sometimes it's going to be life based. But either way, we want to make sure we're doing those things. Finally, our last two things here, team. We are a team, and we are together. When we step on, if you've seen our programs or followed us on social media, every meet that we get done, we stretch in the middle of whatever field we're at as a group. And that's one of the tenets of our program is we're not about one person. We're not about two people. We're about the entire group. And we're going to make sure that we celebrate those together. And then lastly, communicate. We like to run our program the ways that we expect them to be young men and communicate. If there's something that comes up or something that they need help with or something that whatever they need, we need to know about it. So they need to communicate it. In today's world, there are so many ways to communicate with adults and with people, and we just expect they find one and take care of it. If it's face-to-face, that's fine. If it's an email, that's fine. If it's over social media, whatever it takes to get that message across. There is very few reasons why you can't find someone to tell or to communicate with to tell us what's going on. Clothing is obviously a big deal. Our season starts when it's fairly cold, as it is now, and then we end by the end of the season is pretty hot. So we want everybody to make sure they have these things at the beginning of the season and certainly at the beginning of practice. We don't want someone to come into practice and say, well, I don't have sweats, I can't go outside. Our expectation is, regardless of the weather, that if possible, we're going to go outside for a variety of reasons. So make sure they have these sweats at the beginning of practice. They can always take them off, but you can't put them on and have to go get them if you don't have them. We also expect them to have a hoodie or a warm jacket to keep your core warm. I would say our general rule, and I think baseball does the same thing, you should have these things until it's 70 outside, just so you have them. When we talk about warming up, the idea is to actually be warmed up. With that in mind, we also need a water bottle. The water will not be turned on down at the field when we get down there. So it is important that each person has a water bottle to stay hydrated. That is a key part of being the best athletes. And then ultimately, they need athletic shoes and spikes. We have some spikes that past runners and alumni have given to us. We don't have enough for everybody, though. So that is something you can certainly run to multiple stores here, Fitness Sports here in town. We run out, and North Liberty also has spikes if you need some. And if necessary, let us know and we can try and help out as best as possible. These are one of the ways that we recognize people on our team. For the past couple of years, we've had a T-shirt given on to multiple levels of people for their efforts, for their leadership and their team first attitude. And we have such great supporters who acknowledge that this is an important part of any team. So in a couple of weeks, we'll announce our leadership group, and these will be people from each event group that are kind of our go-to people for questions, but also we expect them to be leaders on and off the track and field. So this is kind of a special acknowledgement of a lot of people. And they don't necessarily have to be seniors either. We want people that we can look to and say that person's doing it right, follow their lead, do what they do. And we'll announce that on social media as well as through emails too. We also have an athlete of the week. Every week, I'll send a picture or I'll send a list or maybe both. And we'll also have it on social media where we're going to pick people. Sometimes the coaches will pick the athlete of the week. Sometimes the teammates will pick the athlete of the week. People who show up and who do what they're supposed to do, but also that are recognized by their peers. And I think it's important. We get paid to say good things about your boys, but when your peers say it, I think that means adds another layer of recognition. And then finally, after every meet, we'll have an athlete of the meet as well, at least one, if not a couple, and we'll recognize those on social media and via email as well. These are kind of standard COVID rules and things that we want to make sure we adhere to. Every day, we're going to take attendance. Obviously, that's COVID related, but that's also attendance will be taken so that we know who's there and who's doing their best to show up. That is a part of, excuse me. That is a part of recognizing and rewarding the people who have been around and working on it to be put in meets. When we are indoors, we're going to have masks. They are required on school property unless they're in or unless they're working out. So a couple times in the Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday sessions, if they're going to be working out, it's not required that they wear masks. Obviously, that makes it a little bit harder to breathe. But whenever we're inside and we're not working out, we should probably have masks on. So you may want to have one available, maybe put it in your bag just to have it. When we're outside, it's a little less of an issue, but we will, coaches will certainly have mask on on school property. Again, I talked about earlier, you got to be ready for the elements. Iowa can be very cold. What we want you to do is be ready for those elements however possible. So have a jacket, have a sweatshirt, have things that are going to keep you warm as possible. You should expect your children to be outside for the most part. Obviously, if it's under a certain amount of temperature, we'll use our best discretion. But with space being a hot commodity at West High, with other sports going on, we're going to try and get outside as much as possible if it's a reasonable temperature. To also help with COVID, we'll have minimized groups. One of the reasons that we have so many coaches is that we want small groups and spaced out as much as possible. So we will do that, but obviously you need to do your part as well. And part of that is if you do not feel well, obviously let us know, stay home, and shoot us an email or somehow contact us if that's the case. Oops, sorry. Okay, so last couple of slides here, and then I'll be quiet and let you go do the things that you need to do. This last year, we came up with the Fly the W scholarship for one of our athletes. So those of you who are freshmen, you've got an opportunity to be a 4-time member of our team. You will put yourself in the running for this very awesome scholarship that we partnered with Harvest City. We want to reward kids that put their effort onto our team and with our team. We want to inspire people to continue their hard work and dedication well beyond the 4 years of track and field, because that's important. I think that fits with our values. We need about $20,000 to endow it. The foundation requires that we endow it so it goes on forever. We're about 6,000 away from doing that. We've had some really awesome donations to our team. We are well on our way to doing that, but that money will go directly. It doesn't go to us. It doesn't go to our staff. It goes to the athletes that we are working in front of you. And one person will be selected starting this spring to send them on to college and send some money with them so they can do well with the rest of their life. The criteria is here at the bottom. There's more background here on the slideshow that I put in the chat. I'll put that in there again in case people have joined us. That's the slideshow I just put in there. If you want more information or want to look at these slides later to get the information, there it is. This is the last slide, I promise. Excuse me. These that I highlighted here are all important links for our team. And I know it's a lot, but I want to make sure, and you probably already know this by now, that everybody knows exactly what's going on at any particular moment. So the Band app, there's a link right here. It's a Band app. And it's actually an app, but it's also works via email. We're going to send out lineup changes on that. And I know it sounds like, well, why wouldn't you just stick with the lineup you have? Well, we can't control sicknesses. We can't control people who don't show up. We can't control all those little things. And in any particular moment, we may need to change a lineup or change things. And our expectation is if you want to stay informed with that, please, for your parents, but also athletes, click on that link and sign up. But I know that's just an extra layer of communication. But I also know that if they have it, then we're not printing out papers. We're not trying to do a bunch of extra stuff if they all have that. And we know kids always have their cell phones with them. As teachers, we certainly know that. So that's important to get out as much information to those who need it. If you don't want the information, then you don't have to look at the update. I did include a parent letter that kind of goes over everything that I've gone over, maybe in more detail if you so choose. The links are on there as well. If you have any questions or if there's maybe you missed something in here or want to know more detail, you click on that and you'll get a Google Doc right in that. I sent an email home earlier this week about those of you that either have out-of-date physicals or you don't have your permission to practice form. All of that's done through our athletic training program, and my job is to get it all done before the school year or the season starts. Unfortunately, some of you, your physical will expire before the end of the season. So if you want to know what dates on our school, it should send you a update. But if you want to know, you can email Sheila Stiles and she can tell you what those dates are. Our meet schedule, and I divided it into kind of varsity J and fresh soft JV. It's linked here as well. You can kind of get an idea of their schedule. Again, not everybody will go to every meet. I wish I could tell you right now what your son or schedule would be, but I cannot. But I will try and keep you as updated as possible. Usually the lineups for each particular meet go out the night before. We try and communicate to them as ahead of possible as we can so that you know where we're going to be going and what we're going to be doing as far as their schedule. But it is really, really difficult. So just bear with us in terms of that, and we'll do the best I can to keep you informed. Many of you go places for spring break and have in the past. Some schools don't have practice over spring break. However, I know that some others of you do not go anywhere in spring break, and I don't want to waste an opportunity to make you even better and improve you a little bit. And we do have 2 meets, as crazy as it sounds, during that week of spring break. If you're going to be gone, if you would take the time to fill out this Google form, it just tells me the dates that you're going to be gone. We don't want to put a bunch of people that are going to be gone into a lineup, or we don't want to be wondering where your son's at if you're going to be gone. So just it's another layer of communication to help us be the best for your child. We expect that everybody's going to stay at the meet until the end of the meet. Boy, I can't imagine what Coach Bergman would do if somebody on the bench left during the 3rd quarter because they had to go do homework. And we want to incorporate that into what we do too. Obviously, the people in the last event or the people in the last couple events, they deserve to be cheered on as well. However, we do know there are sometimes things that are mitigating circumstances or reasons that you want to ride home with you want to take your son home with you instead of riding on the bus. If you're going to do that, there's a link right here. It's a Google Doc. I put it in Google form because I don't want to walk away with 45 papers of different sizes as I get on the bus. And it's a Google Doc. So if, say, you realize it's a late night and you'd like to get your son home a little earlier, if you realize it's cold out and he's got a big test the next day, any number of circumstances, it's right on your phone. I would make sure you keep that, and I'll continue to send it out often, but it's right there in case things change in a moment. We do have a website as well, if you want to check that out. It has all of our records, has lots of pictures from over the years. Pretty cool deal as well. And then the last 2 things are our team store. I sent out a link before of some basic kind of West High stuff with our wings on it. I want to keep it pretty simple as possible. If you certainly buy something for your son, if you'd like, buy some things for yourself so we can identify each other at meets. We can say, hey, I don't know if I know you, but I know you're supporting West High. And if you're supporting West High, then we're supporting you. Certainly buy what you can. And if you need help with that, certainly don't hesitate to ask. However, if you feel so inclined, we do have several people on our team that may not be able to buy something for themselves, and we want to make sure they look like they're on our team as well. Certainly, you can do that. Just put on your order teammate or somehow denote that it's going towards someone on our team. I talked earlier about the shoes and spikes. There's 2 kind of companies in here in town, Fitness Sports. There's a link there if you want it, and We Run. Both of those give discounts to our runners. You just have to tell them at the checkout, hey, I run for Iowa City West Boys Track and Field, and they'll give you a discount. If you want to give up that discount and donate that discount towards the Fly the W scholarship, then you can just show them this card, screenshot it, just show them that card, or I can get you cards as well. And then they'll apply that discount towards the Fly the W scholarship, one of the partnerships we have. So that is it. Are there any questions? You can type them in the chat or you can say them out loud. Any questions that anybody has or things that I didn't think about or do, and that includes coaches. Mr. Heron, one of our awesome throws coaches, also said that there is stuff, and I forgot to mention this, at Play It Again Sports. So these are often items that are spikes that have been used. but still in pretty good condition. So if that's an option for you, they have throws shoes there as well. They have high jump shoes there as well. So many different options for whatever the event that you need them for, on a little bit cheaper than buying brand new ones. So if that's something that you need, Play It Again Sports is another option. I apologize for not mentioning that. Well, if nobody has any questions, or if you want to, if you think about it later, you can certainly email me. Hopefully you've got my emails already, a couple of them anyway. If you want to ask me questions, or you want to clarify something that you don't want to clarify now in front of everybody else, or didn't think of it right now, certainly shoot me an email. Thanks for coming, and I really appreciate your time. It is valuable, and I really appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday.